Welcome to the channel Darkness in the Night. Tonight, I will take you into a strange story about a secluded village hidden deep in the Kon Tum forest, where the fog is so thick it covers even the moonlight. People call that place Mist Village, and our character, a mysterious old man, stumbled there in the dark night, beginning a journey of atonement filled with blood and tears. The story begins. That night, the jungle rain poured down. The wind howled like wild beasts. Villagers patrolling the forest edge suddenly heard groans mingled with thunder. Following the flickering torchlight, they found a body sprawled in the mud, blood soaking the earth red. My God, someone's dead. No, looks like he's still breathing. Should we bring him back or leave him here? What if he's a spy from across the border? They hesitated. The wind screamed. Leaves scattered everywhere. A gray-bearded elder in the group, braver than the rest, bent down, pressing his ear to the man's mouth. His voice trembled. He's alive, bring him back, or the forest spirits will take his body. They carried the man back to the village. The man woke up after days of delirium. He lay on a rickety bamboo bed. The smoke of the fire mixed with the sharp smell of herbal leaves. Around him, the villagers stared with suspicion. Who are you? Where did you come from? How dare you set foot in the forbidden forest? The man opened his mouth, voice hoarse. I don't remember anything, even my name. I've forgotten it. The house fell into silence. An old woman sighed. Must be a madman. A boy suddenly shouted, Mom, look at his head. There's a deep cut. Maybe someone chased him to kill him. The man touched the wound on his forehead. Dried blood caked into patches. His mind was blank. Only echoes of distant cries resounded. Yet no images came to him. Days passed, and he remained in the village. At first, the villagers dared not come near. But then something strange happened. The village chief's son fell with a raging fever, muttering incoherently, and even the village shaman gave up. The man quietly went to the forest edge, picked some leaves, chewed them, and placed them on the boy's forehead. Strangely, the next morning, the child's fever broke, and he woke up healthy. The villagers gaped. He knows forest medicine. Maybe heaven sent him to save our village. From now on, call him Master Fong. And so, from that day, he carried a new name, Master Fong. But every night, when the mist rolled in, Master Fong dreamed of terrifying scenes. A woman clutching her child ran through the forest. Wild beasts growling close behind. Blood splattered everywhere. Screams rang out. Broken and desperate, he jolted awake, sweat soaking his back, his heart pounding. He whispered into the darkness. Who is calling me? From the window, a cold wind slipped in, carrying a drawn-out whisper. Here, it's so cold. Master Fong shuddered, grabbing the oil lamp. The wavering flame lit up a shadow passing across the porch, then vanished. He stood frozen, his hand trembling, his eyes lost in the thick fog. Night fell again. The mist was so heavy that the oil lamp inside his thatched hut barely glimmered, unable to light even a meter beyond the porch. The sound of insects droned on, and somewhere an owl hooted, piercing to the bone. Master Fong sat alone, his veined hands holding a cup of forest tea. Steam rose, but inside he felt nothing but cold. The image of the blood-soaked woman and child from his dreams still haunted him. He muttered, voice shaking, Who am I? Why do I always see blood? The wind whistled through the thatched roof. Suddenly, footsteps rustled on the dry leaves outside. Master, are you inside? A young girl's gentle, clear voice. Master Fong opened the door. Standing before him was Lan, the village chief's granddaughter. Her round face and bright eyes carried a trace of worry. In her arms, she held a bamboo basket full of herbs. I brought these for you. Master, Father said you might need them for medicine. Master Fong nodded, taking the basket. Thank you. Why are you out here alone at this hour? It's not safe. Lan smiled faintly, but the smile quickly faded as a cold gust swept through, the fog curling in, making her shiver. I grew up in this village. I'm used to it, but I heard, these days, some people say they've seen shadows wandering near the forest edge. I don't know if it's true. Master Fong narrowed his eyes into the mist. The dark figure from his dream flashed again in his mind. Lan, from now on, don't walk at night. There are things not everyone can see. But they're still around us. Lan shivered slightly, clutching the basket tighter to her chest. Master, are you saying ghosts are real? Master Fong didn't answer. He simply closed the door softly and lit another lamp. That night, Lan stayed in the hut, afraid of the coming rain. In the middle of the night, Master Fong was awakened by a whisper right at his ear. Fong, return the blood to me. He jolted upright, drenched in cold sweat. The oil lamp flickered, casting trembling shadows of two figures on the hut's wall. He glanced to the side. Lan was still curled up fast asleep, her face innocent and serene. Suddenly, from the window, a pale hand reached in. Its long nails scraped across the wood, producing a chilling "cree-cree" sound. Master Fong whispered, his voice trembling. Who's there? Go away, stop haunting me. The hand withdrew instantly, vanishing into the mist. But then, the faint sound of a child crying echoed from the forest's edge. The cry was weak, mournful, like it came from the land of the dead. Lan startled awake, sitting up in alarm. Master, did you hear that? It sounded like a baby crying. Master Fong gripped his staff tightly, eyes fixed on the fog outside. Yes, I heard it, but it's just a wandering soul. Child. Lan clutched her blanket, shivering. Dear heavens, why is it so cold tonight? The hut sank into silence. Outside, the crying drifted farther away until it disappeared, leaving only the endless wail of the wind. The next morning, Master Fong led Lan into the forest to gather herbs. The mist still hung heavy, the gnarled trees looming like monstrous sentinels. He walked ahead, machete in hand, eyes scanning each narrow path. Lan followed, whispering, Master, last night, I kept feeling like someone was standing outside the door, watching us, but I was too scared to say anything. Yes, I saw it too, but don't dwell on it, or else, it may follow you. Lan flinched, gripping the bamboo basket tightly. Follow me, what do you mean? Master Fong didn't answer. He only bent down to pick a purple mushroom growing at the base of a rotting tree. The moment his fingers touched it, his vision blurred. A memory surged forth, a woman clutching her child, screaming in agony as flames roared around them. He staggered, nearly collapsing. Lan cried out, panicked. Master, what's happening to you? He drew in a sharp breath, his face pale. It's nothing, just fragments of the past. Lan gazed at him with deep worry, but dared not press further. In his heart, Master Fong knew those horrifying memories were returning, along with the restless spirits of his haunted past. Dusk fell quickly in the ancient forest. Though the sun had not fully set, the shadows of the trees loomed heavy, and the mist rose so thick they could barely see a hand's length ahead. Master Fong carried the herbs on his back, warning Lan to stay close behind. Don't wander off. In this forest, there are more than wild beasts. Lan followed timidly, her heart uneasy. Suddenly, sobbing echoed from afar, this time loud and clear. It wasn't one child crying, it was many, their voices overlapping in a sorrowful chorus. Lan froze, trembling. My God, Master, did you hear that? I heard. Don't turn back, keep walking straight. The cries stopped abruptly. In their place came the sound of footsteps squelching on the dry leaves. Right beside them, Lan shrieked, clutching Master Fong's sleeve. Someone is walking next to us. Master Fong halted, peering into the dense fog. A small dark figure appeared before him. It was a child, naked, skin bluish, eyes rolled white, black blood dripping from its mouth. Master Fong swallowed hard, his voice choked. What do you want? The child did not answer. It raised a thin arm, blood flowing down, and whispered hoarsely, Return life, return blood? Lan screamed, covering her face. Master Fong stretched his hand out as if to push it away, but touched nothing but icy air. In a flash, he saw a burning house, heard screams, and a woman's wail piercing through the flames. He collapsed to the ground, clutching his head. No, don't make me remember, don't. The child lunged forward, gripping his shoulder, but just then, The sound of the village's wooden gong echoed from afar, a signal calling people home. The dark figure dissolved into the mist, leaving only the stench of rot lingering in the air. Lan rushed to lift him up, tears streaming down her face. "Master, what did you see?" Gasping for breath, his eyes bloodshot, he rasped, "A spirit, a vengeful soul has followed me here." Together they stumbled back toward the village. Behind them, the fog thickened, as though thousands of unseen eyes were watching. That night, Lan sat silently by the fire in Master Fong's hut. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen red. She spoke softly, her voice breaking. "Master, I've done something wrong. I carry a life inside me, but not from someone in the village. He's a man from across the border. If my father finds out, he'll kill me." Master Fong froze, staring at her as though seeing his own past reflected back. He drew in a sharp breath, his trembling hand gripping the mat. "Lan, do you realize keeping this secret is inviting disaster?" Lan sobbed. "I know, but I can't let him go. I love him, and I can't kill this child." The flames flickered, painting anguish across both their faces. Outside, the forest wind howled, the thatched roof creaking under its force. Then came the whisper again, drifting through the mist like a grieving woman's voice. "The child, blood must spill." Lan shuddered, clutching Master Fong's arm. "Master, I'm so afraid." He pulled her close, his eyes dark and heavy. "Don't be afraid. If guilt must be borne, let me carry it alone." The cries, the wind, and the whispers merged into a chilling symphony of the jungle night. And from that moment, both Lan and Master Fong knew. The spirits in the mist had turned their gaze upon them, and the tragedy had only just begun. Winter had just arrived, and the forest winds cut to the bone. In the village, the sounds of chopping bamboo, sharpening blades, and weaving baskets echoed through every lane. The old, the young, men and women alike, everyone was busy preparing. An old woman sat by the roadside, braiding rope as she muttered, "The mist is too thick this year, surely the ancestors are angry. If this ritual isn't done right, our village is doomed." A man nearby looked up at the dark clouds churning over the mountain peak and answered anxiously, "These past nights, wild beasts keep coming down from the forest, and the sound of children crying in the middle of the night. It's a bad omen, old mother." The whole village buzzed with fearful chatter. Everyone believed a grand ritual must be held to appease the spirits. Master Fong quietly stepped out into the yard, watching the kitchen smoke blur into the sky. He felt something ominous pressing down. In his heart, the whispers of his wife and child's restless spirits had never ceased. Lan came beside him, setting down a basket of herbs. "Master, these days I notice the villagers look at you differently. They're saying, ever since you came, the spirits have followed into the village." Master Fong sighed, sorrow weighing in his eyes. "Lan, people fear what they cannot understand, but sometimes it is we ourselves who plant the seed of fear." Lan clenched her hands on her tunic, remaining silent. In her eyes, worry swelled. That afternoon, a group of strangers arrived. At the front was a man dressed in a long black robe, his hair tied high, deep-set eyes, and in his hand a staff carved with a serpent's head. He walked slowly, but his presence commanded awe, making everyone step aside. The villagers whispered, "That's him, Master Shaman Huyan. They say he's so powerful. He can call back the souls of the dead." The village chief hurried forward, bowing respectfully. "Please, Master Shaman, help us. May the ancestors forgive the sins of our people." Shaman Huyan only gave a slight nod, his cold gaze sweeping across the village. When his eyes landed on Master Fong, his brow furrowed. Master Fong shivered, a chill crawling up his spine. A vague memory flickered. He was certain he had seen that face before, though he couldn't recall where. When night fell, the villagers gathered in the communal yard to hear instructions. Shaman Huyan stood within a ring of fire, his deep voice booming. "This year's ritual must be performed 10 times more carefully. For I see, the curse has already taken root here. The spirits are not only your ancestors, but also vengeful souls that have not moved on. If the offering is wrong, blood will spill, and lives will be lost." The crowd trembled, whispering in fear. An old woman's voice shook as she asked, "Master, then how can we make them spare our village?" His lips curled into a thin smile, his eyes sharp as a blade. "There must be one to take the blame. There must be blood for the sacrifice." The wind howled through the thatched roofs, and the fire roared higher, as if swallowing his words into the mist. From the shadows, Master Fong clenched his fist. A dreadful premonition coiled in his chest. The next day, the mist was thicker than ever. Even the roosters crowed hoarsely, as if their throats were strangled. Villagers heading into the forest stumbled upon a horrifying sight: deer, wild boars, squirrels. Dozens of animals lay dead along the forest's edge, eyes bulging, foam oozing from their mouths. A child cried out, hands shaking as he pointed at the carcass of a deer. "Mom, its neck, it's torn apart." The adults gathered, faces pale. An old man shook his head. "This is a bad omen. Something has been angered." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Children wailed across the village square. That afternoon, Master Fong passed by the village well. The surface of the water shimmered red like blood. He leaned closer, and the reflection staring back wasn't his own. It was the shredded, blood-drenched face of a woman. Her mouth opened in a grotesque grin, broken teeth glistening with blood. Her voice echoed up from the depths of the well. "Fong, stop running. Where is my child?" He staggered back, nearly falling. Behind him, a child screamed in terror. "Master, someone under the well, they're pulling my hair." Master Fong grabbed the child. But when he turned back, the water was calm again, reflecting only the ashen sky. Night fell, and the wind howled through every lane. Dogs barked furiously, hair bristling as they growled at the darkness. Children screamed, refusing to sleep, pointing to corners of their homes, babbling, "Someone's there, someone's watching me." Parents, pale with fear, clutched their children by the fire, unable to calm them. Inside his hut, Master Fong tossed and turned. Sleep would not come. In his ears, the whispers grew louder, children crying, women sobbing, footsteps dragging through the dirt, all blending into a suffocating chorus. He clutched his head, groaning, "Stop calling me, please, spare me." Suddenly, the hut's door burst open. A rush of icy mist swept in. At the threshold stood the figure of a child, motionless, eyes rolled white, blood streaming down its face. It whispered in a rasping voice, "Father, why did you abandon me?" He collapsed, reaching out with trembling hands, his lips stammering, My child, what?" Lan rushed to him, shaking him awake, but in her eyes, the hut was empty. No one stood there at all. She broke down in tears, her voice quivering. "Master, who are you talking to? There's no one here, it's just you and me." Master Fong panted heavily, sweat dripping down his face. He glanced around, the porch was swallowed by mist, and within it, those unseen eyes still lingered. From the village square, the sound of drums thundered 3 times. The village chief shouted, "Everyone, prepare. Tomorrow night, we perform the soul-calling ritual. If not, the whole village will perish." The drumbeats pounded, merging with the wailing wind, like the cries of the underworld rising into the night. That night, a pale moon stretched across the sky. The mist hung heavy like a white curtain, covering the mountains and forest. Drums and gongs thundered, summoning the villagers to gather at the altar ground in the clearing. In the center stood the sacrificial pole, hung with chicken heads, roasted pigs, and jars of rice wine. Incense smoke curled thick in the air, blending with the stench of animal blood and bitter herbs. The villagers formed a circle, silent as stone. Only the wail of the wind and the hollow knock of Shaman Huyan's wooden gong broke the stillness. He wore a long black robe, eyes shut tight, gripping the serpent-headed staff. His deep, gravelly voice rose, "Spirits of the ancestors, spirits of the dead in the deep forest, hear me in return, drink this blood, eat this flesh, spare this village." His chanting grew louder, more insistent. The fire in the center blazed high, smoke twisting skyward before the mist devoured it whole. Suddenly, from within the crowd, an old woman cried out in terror, "Oh God, Look there, atop the tree. All heads turned upward. On the peak of the ancient tree beside the altar, a faint figure swayed in the wind, a woman. Long hair veiling her face. White dress shredded, drifting like a corpse. From every corner, the shrill cries of children pierced the night, echoing across the clearing. Lan's face drained of color. She clutched Master Fong's arm, trembling. Master, I see it clearly, it's staring at me. Master Fong squinted. Indeed, two ghostly white eyes glared down from the treetop, cold and merciless, as though to consume the crowd. But Shaman Huyan continued, pounding the gong, his voice booming. Do not fear, this is only an omen. The ritual must go on, or we'll never find peace. He flung blood from a chicken onto the earth. It spread across the damp ground, the stench of iron rising thick. From within the blood, faint moans seeped up. The villagers panicked, some ready to flee, but the chief barked, whoever runs, the spirits will slaughter their whole family. The air tightened like a drawn bowstring. At that moment, Master Fong felt dizzy. Through the smoke, he saw a horrifying vision, his wife and child, drenched in blood, standing within the flames. The woman screamed, her voice breaking. Fong, don't resist, blood must flow. Only then can sins be cleansed. He collapsed, clutching his head, sweat pouring like rain. Lan frantically shook him. Master, wake up, please. But in his eyes, the villagers were no longer human, they had become hollow corpses. Their eyes rolled white, mouths gaping, laughter shrieking as they lunged to tear each other apart. Blood sprayed, screams ripped through the night. He cried out, clutching his chest. No, stop, don't kill each other. The villagers only stared, bewildered. They saw nothing, only Master Fong writhing in his visions. That night, before the ritual could finish, a violent whirlwind rose. Flames roared skyward. The sacrificial pole shook violently. Jars of wine toppled, spilling like rivers of blood across the earth. From the fire came the chilling hiss of a serpent, echoing through the mist. Shaman Huyan raised his voice, roaring across the square. It has arrived, the gods are enraged. The hiss rose from the fire at the altar, chilling and unearthly. The crowd erupted in panic, people stumbled, some clutching their children as they fled in terror. The flames surged higher, and from the ashes slithered a monstrous shadow. A serpent, pitch black, as thick as a man's thigh. Its eyes blazing red, tongue flicking with a venomous hiss. It coiled around the sacrificial pole, raising its head high, the sound of its breath like demons wailing in a cave. A child screamed, "The serpent god, it has appeared!" Cries of horror rippled through the clearing. The snake slid forward, weaving through the circle of villagers. Every time it passed, an icy wind cut into their skin, and the stench of blood and rot choked their lungs. No one dared to move. Only the ragged sound of breath and pounding hearts filled the night. Without warning, the serpent lunged onto the altar, sinking its fangs into the neck of a dangling rooster. Blood sprayed in a violent arc, splattering to the ground, yet strangely, the blood did not soak into the earth, it hissed into steam, swirling up into the fog. Lan trembled violently behind Master Fong, her wide eyes fixed on the beast. She whispered, "Master, it's looking at me." Indeed, the serpent's blazing eyes were locked onto her belly. It reared its head, tongue lashing, hissing in long, piercing cries. Lan stumbled backward, clutching her stomach, her face pale as ash. "I'm afraid, it knows." Before her words could fade, the serpent shot forward like an arrow, its fangs sinking into her flesh. A scream tore through the night. Lan collapsed, blood staining her tunic in a spreading red bloom. She clutched her stomach, her desperate eyes staring skyward. The villagers shrieked, some collapsing to their knees in worship, others sobbing as they cried out to the heavens. Her blood flowed across the altar ground in a dark river. Yet it did not seep into the soil, it boiled, bubbling violently, steaming crimson mist into the air. From within that bloody vapor, shapes emerged. A woman with streaming hair, a wailing child, a severed hand clawing forward. They screeched and lunged at the villagers. An old woman stammered, her face drained of all color. "Dear God, The curse is real? Chaos engulfed the clearing. Drums and gongs shattered into silence. Cries and screams mixed with the howling wind, as though the end of the world had descended upon them. Master Fong stood frozen, unable to move. He longed to reach Lan, but his legs felt nailed to the earth. In his mind, the whispers returned, relentless. Blood must be paid with blood. Lan's screams still echoed, but her body had gone limp, lying motionless in a pool of blood. The thick red spread outward, forming strange, twisted symbols across the ground. Villagers rushed in, some wailing, others collapsing as they muttered, "It's taken her life." The spirits are truly enraged. A young man shouted in panic. "This is all because of that old man. Ever since he came to the village, nothing but omens and death." Every eye turned toward Master Fong, burning with suspicion and fury. A woman sobbed, pointing a trembling finger at him. "He brought the curse here. His wife and child died unjustly. Their ghosts have followed him back to haunt us all." The voices swelled into chaos, the clearing erupting in shouts. Through the uproar, Shaman Huyan's voice rumbled low and commanding. "I warned you, the spirits never forgive. The guilty one is here. Among you, if he is not cast out, the entire village will be consumed." He raised the serpent-headed staff, pointing directly at Master Fong. His eyes gleamed with cruel triumph. The villagers roared, "Yes, drive him out. He must bear the punishment for us all." Master Fong collapsed to his knees, his trembling hands clawing at the dirt. The cold wind howled around him, carrying with it the cries of women, the shrieks of children. "Father, come back to us." He clutched his head, groaning in anguish. "No, don't drag me back." Nearby, Lan still breathed faintly, blood seeping beneath her. Her lips quivered, whispering weakly, "Master, don't leave me." A tear slipped down Master Fong's weathered face. The mob pressed closer, anger swelling, stones clutched, sticks raised high. The village chief snarled, voice heavy with wrath, "If you are truly remorseful, then confess your sins. Only your blood can appease the spirits." The clearing shook with cries, sobs, and the serpent's hiss. The black snake still coiled around the sacrificial pole, its crimson eyes fixed on every movement. In that instant, Master Fong's memories shattered open. He saw his wife and child slaughtered, their home in flames, their screams tearing through the night. It all came crashing back like a storm. He lifted his face, tears glistening in his eyes, his voice breaking. I am the guilty one." Master Fong knelt in the center of the altar ground, his trembling hands clawing into the dirt. The mist pressed thick and suffocating, its icy grip numbing his skin. Around him, the villagers fell silent, broken only by ragged breaths and the shrill cries of women. He lifted his face, his hoarse voice cracking. I was once a healer in the lowlands. But out of greed, I sold poison to our enemies, and it cost my wife and child their lives. Their blood painted my home red." The crowd gasped, some staggering back in fear. Their eyes blazed with both fury and horror, all fixed on him. He struck his chest, shouting in a ragged wail, "My sins rise higher than the mountains. If the spirits demand a life, then take mine. Spare this village." From his robe, he pulled out a small vial of thick, black poison. When he opened it, the stench burned the air, forcing many to cover their faces. Lan, weak and fading, reached her trembling hand toward him, whispering, "Master, don't die." His eyes blurred with tears, his hands shaking violently, yet with a choked breath. He tilted back his head and poured the poison into his mouth. The villagers cried out in shock. "Dear God!" He drank the poison, his body convulsed, collapsing to the earth, black froth spilling from his lips. But strangely, death did not come at once. Instead, a shrieking wind tore through the clearing, and from his mouth poured clouds of dark smoke, twisting upward into the night sky. In that smoke appeared the figures of his wife and child, drenched in blood. The woman's laughter curdled the air, her voice moaning like a dirge. "Fong, death is not enough. You must come with us." He howled, his voice breaking. "Spare me, spare this village." Suddenly, the ground quaked beneath them. Land's blood spread wider, bubbling violently, transforming into crimson hands that clawed up from the earth, seizing the villagers by their ankles. Screams tore through the crowd. Shaman Huyan raised his serpent staff high, roaring, "Do you see? His blood cannot appease the spirits. They're even more enraged." The villagers erupted in chaos, voices clashing in fear and rage. "Cast him into the forest. Throw him to the spirits." Master Fong's face pressed into the soil, his breath shallow, fading. Through his dimming vision, all he saw was endless fog, and within it, hundreds of pale faces closing in, their whispers slicing like icy wind. "Come with us, into the forest?" The wind howled in violent bursts, and the sky darkened as if swallowed whole. From the forest's edge, the mist surged inward, coiling like thousands of pale hands closing tight around the helpless village. On the altar ground, Lan's body lay motionless, her blood still spreading into grotesque crimson symbols. The black serpent coiled around the sacrificial pole, its blazing red eyes sweeping over the crowd as though weighing which soul to devour. Suddenly, it reared back and spewed a torrent of thick black smoke. The stench was putrid, suffocating. Those who inhaled it clutched their throats, coughing violently before collapsing to the earth, their bodies convulsed, eyes rolling back, froth bubbling at their lips. An old woman shrieked in terror. "Dear God, it's spreading plague." Cries and screams erupted, scattering through the clearing. The strong fled in panic, while the weak collapsed, twitching on the ground. Shaman Huyan struck his wooden gong furiously, his booming voice cutting through the chaos. "The gods are enraged, and it is all because of him." He thrust the serpent-headed staff at Master Fong. The villagers, maddened by fear, roared in unison, "He brought this curse upon us. If we don't kill him, the whole village will perish." A young man charged forward, club raised to crush Fong's skull. The old man staggered back, barely avoiding the blow. Amid the chaos, Lan still clung faintly to life, her dim eyes strained toward Master Fong, her broken voice whispering, "Master, don't let them kill you." A single tear slipped from her fading eyes, rolling down her cold cheek. The villagers' fury swelled, their shouts drowning the very wind. Sticks and stones filled their hands as they pressed in around him. Master Fong pushed himself to his feet, his face ashen, his eyes rimmed red, his voice cracked, trembling yet heavy with anguish. "If my blood can save this village, I will give it freely. But hear me, there is another, someone hidden, who has orchestrated all of this." No one listened. The mob raged, their howls like thunder. "Kill him. Cast him to the forest spirits." The serpent lifted its head, tongue flicking, reveling in the madness. And in that instant, Fong saw them, his wife and child, their spectral figures drifting within the mist, beckoning with hollow hands. Their fragmented whispers swirled through the night air. Come back with us." His body trembled, his vision swam, yet deep within, a faint spark still burned. He knew then, this disaster was only the beginning. After the night of the ritual, Mist Village sank into despair. The fog never lifted, and the sky remained shrouded, as if the sun itself had been smothered. The wailing wind and eerie cries of birds echoed day and night, gnawing at everyone's nerves. The villagers began to fall ill. At first, it was just a dry cough. Then came the high fevers, skin turning blue, blood seeping from noses and mouths. One death followed another, one, then two, then three. Every house became a place of mourning, thick with the smoke of incense. A young mother clutched her baby, trembling and screaming, "Help me, please. Someone save my child. It's been burning with fever all day." The infant stiffened in her arms, eyes glazed wide, throat rattling before going silent forever. The mother's scream of anguish pierced the mountains. At night, dogs howled endlessly, their cries chilling to the bone. The living huddled close to their fires, yet still they heard footsteps crunching in the alleys, the groans of the dead drifting just outside their doors. An old man whispered, his voice quivering with dread, "The dead cannot rest. Their spirits are still here." As his words faded, the sound of children's laughter rang outside. When the villagers rushed out, they found only a wall of dense, white fog. The death toll rose relentlessly. Corpses could no longer be buried quickly enough. Bodies were dragged to the forest edge and left there. But by morning, they vanished, leaving only blood trails smeared deep into the woods. The villagers trembled, whispering, "The forest spirits, they've taken the corpses." A pall of grief smothered the village. The sick wasted away, the healthy sank into despair. And once again, blame fell on Master Fong. A furious young man hurled a stone at his hut, shouting, "If not for him, none of this would have happened. He brought the spirits here." The rock shattered the thatched roof, scattering bamboo dust into the air. Inside, Master Fong sat hunched by the fire, hollow-eyed, clutching his head. His voice rasped, speaking as if to himself. "I sowed this sin, I must bear it all. But why does the darkness still refuse to let go?" In the drifting smoke of incense, the figures of his wife and child appeared again, drenched in blood. Their broken whispers seeped into his ears. "Not done yet, not enough blood yet." He broke down, burying his face in his hands, sobbing, trembling like a child. That night, the sky was pitch black. No moon, no stars. Mist smothered Mist Village so thickly that even an outstretched hand vanished into the white void. The hollow clatter of a gong echoed from nowhere, though no one had struck it. The villagers huddled around their fires, faces pale, eyes locked fearfully on the doors. Suddenly, a child's shriek cut through the night. Everyone rushed outside. Through the suffocating fog, a small figure crawled on all fours, a naked child. Skin bluish, eyes rolled white. An old woman stammered, trembling, "Dear heavens, that's the boy who died yesterday." The child snapped its head upward. The corners of its mouth split grotesquely toward its ears as it let out a shrill, echoing laugh. The villagers screamed, scattering in terror. All around, the fog came alive with spirits, long-haired women, headless soldiers, villagers who had just died days ago. They drifted among the houses, knocking on doors, scratching walls, whispering the names of the living. A young man clutched his head, shrieking, "It's calling my name, it's right at the door." The moans and whispers tangled with the icy wind, plunging the village into utter despair. Inside his hut, Master Fong sat dazed. Every whisper seemed to curl directly into his ear. "Fong, come down into the forest." In the firelight, the bloodied forms of his wife and child appeared, their eyes blazing red, their hands outstretched to drag him away. He lowered his head, tears streaking his face, his voice choking. "I've lost everything, there's nothing left to hold on to." On the cot, Lan lay frail, her breath shallow, with fading strength, her eyes cloudy. She whispered, "Master, don't go. If you leave, I'll have no one." Her words made him tremble. In that moment, he realized, if he gave in, the entire village would be swallowed by darkness. He clenched his fists, a rare flicker of resolve lighting his eyes. His voice shook but carried steel. "Fine, if fate demands I walk into the forest, then I'll face it. Even in death, this curse must end." Thunder cracked across the heavens. The mist churned violently, twisting open like a gaping doorway into the forest's heart. From within came the cries, the weeping, the screams, the hiss of the serpent, beckoning. Master Fong rose, staggering toward the forest's edge. With every step, the mist parted, revealing a road of pure black, as if leading straight into hell itself. The villagers watched, torn between terror and hatred. One muttered under his breath, "He's gone. May the spirits spare us now." That night, while Mist Village drowned in weeping, Master Fong slipped away from his thatched hut. His bent silhouette wavered in the suffocating fog, each step heavy, as if sinking into an abyss. Before him stretched the path into the pitch-black forest, the trees looming like rows of the dead, standing silently in judgment. The wind whipped cold, carrying the stench of blood. From afar came a broken call. "Fong, come here." He froze, shuddering. It was his wife's voice, sweet, trembling, yet twisted as though it rose from the grave. Stumbling onward, his steps felt dragged by unseen hands. Figures emerged along the path, faces ghastly pale, eyes bulging and bloodshot. They whispered, "Traitor, blood for blood." Master Fong clutched his ears, trembling. "Enough, spare me." But the voices only grew clearer. A frozen hand clamped his shoulder. He spun around, and there was his son's face, smeared with blood, eyes bulging, mouth split wide. "Father, why did you kill us?" He collapsed, face pressed into the dirt, tears streaming. "No, I never meant to. I was wrong, forgive me." Lightning split the sky, flooding the forest in blinding light. Ahead, he saw a massive ancient tree, wide as several men embracing. From its branches dangled dozens of corpses, hair hanging, tongues lolling. The wind swung them, creaking like a macabre wind chime. Among them, one figure stood out, a woman cradling a newborn, her body soaked in blood. She stared directly at him, smiling with venomous hate. Her voice thundered inside his head. "You must go on, down to the mountain's roots, where the blood has sunk deep. Only there will the curse end." Shaking, he crawled forward, his legs heavy as if chained. Around him, the cries, laughter, and moans twisted tighter, suffocating him with no escape. A child's whisper brushed his ear, cold as a knife. "Father, I never even lived, and you abandoned me." He screamed in anguish, clutching his head. "God, I must go. I must atone, even if it kills me." He hurled himself into the mist, his frail figure vanishing into the heart of the forest's darkness. The deeper he went, the thicker the forest mist clung, seeping icy cold into his bones. The forest was silent. No insects chirped, only the brittle crunch of dry leaves under Master Fong's trembling steps. He halted, panting. Ahead, in the heart of the jungle, loomed the outline of a decayed structure, a small stone shrine. No larger than a single-room hut. Moss draped every surface, its door splintered and broken, surrounded by leaning, rotted wooden posts. On the shattered doorframe, faint words carved by a blade read, "The blood of the traitor shall open the door. The blood of the righteous shall seal it shut." Asterisk. Master Fong shuddered, his hand trembling as he traced the carving. A chill swept through his body, sweat soaking his back. The traitor, that must be me. Inside, the shrine reeked of rot and damp earth. He stepped cautiously in. On the crumbled stone altar lay skulls, yellowed, cracked, some still tangled with strands of black hair. Suddenly, one skull whispered, "You've returned?" He stumbled back against the cold wall, heart pounding. Every skull turned toward him at once, their hollow sockets glowing with flickering green fire. Voices wailed in unison. "The seller of poison, the one who opened the way. You carried the curse from the lowlands to this mountain?" He collapsed to his knees, shaking his head. "No, I didn't know. I only wanted to heal, to save lives." A sudden blaze of green flame erupted in the shrine's center, revealing a figure cloaked in black. He clutched a staff made of bone, his face half human, half demon, eyes blazing crimson. The voice boomed, echoing as though from the grave. "It was you. You once guided me. Through you, the door to the forest spirits opened. And now, you must pay." Master Fong staggered, fragments of memory flooding back. Long ago, he had sold poison to a stranger, never knowing that man carried it into this forest, sowing the seeds of the curse. His whole body shook, cold sweat dripping. He whispered, broken, "My God, I didn't just doom my wife and child. I doomed this mountain too." From the shadows, a colossal serpent hissed, the sound rattling the shrine as stones tumbled from the walls. The shrine shook violently, as if about to collapse. Then, right beside his ear, came a child's whisper, soft and chilling, "Father, I'm waiting at the mountain's roots." Fong crumpled to the ground, clutching his head, his eyes wide with despair as he stared into the black abyss of the forest ahead. The stone shrine quaked violently, dirt and dust pouring down in streams. Master Fong staggered, stumbling out into the suffocating night air, chest heaving. Before him, the mist parted like torn cloth, revealing a narrow trail plunging down toward the mountain's base. He knew this was the mountain's roots his wife's spirit had whispered about. Each step downward was heavier than the last, The air grew colder, the soil beneath his feet damp and sticky, as though soaked with blood. The whispers followed him, pressing close against his ears. Sometimes clear, sometimes broken. Go deeper, down below, the blood awaits. He clenched his teeth, his trembling hand gripping the pouch of herbs at his side, clinging to the last shred of courage left within him. At last, the trail opened into a vast clearing in the jungle. A colossal pit yawned before him, jagged stone edges torn apart like the gaping jaws of a demon. Black fumes poured upward, choking with the stench of rotten blood. Around the rim, rotted wooden stakes jutted from the earth, rusted chains dangling loosely, as if they had once bound some monstrous thing. Suddenly, the ground trembled. From the pit, a massive serpent slithered forth. Its scales gleamed black as oil, its body as thick as ancient tree trunks. Its eyes blazed crimson, two burning torches in the fog. It reared high, spewing a cloud of venomous white smoke. The hiss that tore from its throat shrieked across the mountains, like 1,000 spirits crying out at once. Master Fong collapsed to his knees, clutching his chest, heart hammering near to bursting. He whispered through cracked lips, This is the serpent, the one from the ritual that night?" The beast's fiery eyes locked onto him. A voice rose, not one, but many, like a chorus of tortured souls. Heavy and hollow. "You carry the blood of betrayal. You opened the gate once, now, you must give your life to close it." Beside the serpent's body, the spirits of his wife and child appeared, smeared in blood, the infant limp in her arms. They did not scream, they only stared at him, eyes glimmering with cold hatred. Fong clutched his head, crying out, "If my death can seal this gate, then take me. But spare the villagers, spare the children." The serpent's hiss roared louder, whipping the clearing into a cyclone of icy wind, as if acknowledging his plea. Then, from far off, the pounding of drums echoed through the forest, fast, unrelenting, mingled with the eerie wail of horns. Fong raised his head, eyes widening in horror. From the mist, Mo Huyan emerged, flanked by cloaked figures clad in black. In his grasp was a twisted staff crowned with a beast's skull, its sockets glowing with green flame. His laughter rasped, harsh and jagged. "Tonight, the gate must open wide. Your blood will be only the beginning." The thunder of Mo Huyan's drums shook the pit, pounding like a monstrous heartbeat. The black-clad followers dropped to their knees in unison, chanting guttural incantations, their voices rough and rasping like the wind howling through graves. From Mo Huyan's staff, coils of green smoke twisted upward, merging with the fog. Above, the sky writhed, thunderheads colliding, lightning tearing jagged scars across the heavens. The forest shuddered under the lash of the storm. Master Fong stood frozen, eyes wide, sweat pouring down his face. His whisper cracked from horror. "It's him, the very man who once bought poison from my hands." Mo Huyan tilted his head back and laughed, sharp and cutting, a sound like knives scraping bone. "Yes, me, thanks to you. The forest spirits were freed from their chains. You thought yourself a healer, a savior. Yet you were nothing but the key that unshackled demons." The colossal serpent reared higher, scales glistening like obsidian, coiling around the rim of the pit. Its tongue flickered, spraying mist, eyes blazing red as though it recognized both prey and rival. Mo Huyan thrust his staff toward the sky, his voice booming, "Blood, only blood will open the gate." Two cloaked men dragged forward a bound villager, gag stuffed in his mouth, eyes bulging in terror. He kicked and writhed, muffled cries breaking the suffocating air. Master Fong lurched forward, voice hoarse with desperation. "Stop, no more blood." He stumbled into the fray, only to be struck down by a savage blow. His body hit the earth hard, rocks tearing skin, warm blood streaming down his brow. Gasping, he clawed his way upright, fire burning in his gaze. "If it's blood you need, take mine." Mo Huyan sneered, pointing the staff at him. "You think you choose? Your blood will spill, yes, but not before I reduce Suong village to ash. Only then will the forest spirits feast." Above, the sky roared, a whirlpool of thunder and flame. From the distance, faint screams and cries echoed, villagers stumbling blindly toward the drums, drawn into the heart of doom. Fong's chest clenched, terror ripping through him. No, God, no, keep them away. And then, within the chaos, Lan's voice flickered in his mind, fragile, pleading, warm like a dying ember. Master, don't leave me. He clutched his head, trembling, torn apart by the clash of voices, hatred calling for his blood, and love begging him to endure. Mo Huyan's drums thundered, pounding faster, harder, as the staff's green fire spiraled skyward, casting the pit in a ghastly glow. From afar came the stampede of feet, the wails, the frantic cries. The villagers of Suong stumbled through the suffocating fog, faces pale, voices breaking with terror. A woman screamed as she ran, "My child, don't leave me." An old man collapsed to his knees, gasping, "Heaven help us, what hell is this place?" They crowded along the rim of the pit and froze. There it was, the colossal serpent coiled tight, scales glistening like wet stone, its blazing red eyes staring back. The forest rang with shrieks and sobs. Mo Huyan raised his staff high, his roar cutting through the chaos. "Look upon it, the wrath of the mountain spirits. Only blood will soothe their rage." The villagers broke, some fell to their knees, bowing, trembling prayers spilling from their lips. Others turned, desperate to flee, but the fog sealed every path, swallowing them whole. A young man stammered, shaking, We're trapped in the forest." And then the ground split. From the edges of the pit, gray skeletal arms clawed their way out, dragging rotting bodies behind them. The unburied dead, eyes blank and white, moaned as they crawled, calling the names of kin. The villagers wailed in despair. "The dead have risen, God help us." Through the uproar swept a wave of cold, piercing as knives. In its wake, an apparition drifted forth, a newborn's ghost. Frail and translucent, its skin was blue with death. Its tiny eyes shut, but its lips moved soundlessly. Then came the whisper, thin and haunting, echoing through the forest. "Father, mother?" A crone shrieked, her face drained of blood. That is Lan's child." Back in the hut, Lan convulsed, eyes clenched shut, body writhing as if her soul was being dragged out to meet the ghost of her unborn. Master Fong heard the cry pierce him, freezing his veins. His chest collapsed in grief, and he dropped to his knees, voice raw, breaking. "My child, forgive me? I will do anything." Mo Huyan's laughter split the night, harsh and triumphant. He leveled his staff at the baby's wraith. This is the key. It's blood and yours. Fong will rip the forest's gate wide open." The serpent hissed, coils rattling like thunder as it tightened around the pit. Its burning eyes locked on Master Fong, glowing brighter, hungrier. The villagers howled, some pointing, spitting rage through their tears. He brought this curse. Kill him, sacrifice him to the spirits." The air fractured with screams, the baby's ghostly sobs, the serpent's shriek, dragging Master Fong deeper into a nightmare with no escape. The forest roared with screams, drums, and the serpent's piercing shriek. Thunder split the sky, shaking the mountains as if the heavens themselves trembled at the horror below. Villagers shoved and wailed, some knelt, clutching their heads in fear, while others pointed at Master Fong with venom. "It's him. He caused this. Sacrifice him. Give him to the forest spirits." They surged forward, encircling him, eyes wild with terror and hate. Master Fong staggered back, arms trembling as he raised them in desperate plea. "Stop. I never wanted harm. I only sought to atone." But his voice drowned beneath their fury. A stone cracked against his shoulder, blood soaking his sleeve. He collapsed to his knees, vision blurred with tears. Faces he once knew stared back, twisted by rage. No longer neighbors, but executioners. In his skull echoed the whispers of his wife and child. Blood must be repaid with blood. At the pit's edge, Mo Huyan raised his serpent-headed staff, his voice booming like thunder. "Yes, sacrifice him. His blood will tear the gate wide open. The forest of mist will rise, and you will all be freed from these shadows." The black-robed cultists howled, their guttural chants spiraling. Green smoke surged upward, twining around the serpent's massive coils. The beast hissed long and loud, lowering its colossal head, jaws yawning wide to reveal fangs sharp as swords. The stench of rot and venom rolled over the villagers, who gagged and retched in horror. Then, a chill swept the air. Above them, the ghostly form of the newborn shimmered clearer than ever. Its skin glowed sickly, its black eyes wide and unblinking. Staring directly at Fong, it cried out, a wail that cut to the bone. Yet beneath it, an adult's whisper slipped through. "Father, come down with me." The sound froze the crowd. For a heartbeat, all were silent, clutching their chests, their faces drained white. Far away in the hut, Lan convulsed violently, her hoarse voice rasping. "They, don't leave me." Fong clutched his head, falling forward onto the dirt, body shaking as if torn apart. He screamed, voice breaking into shards. "God, what must I do? If I die, will it truly end?" The serpent's roar shattered the silence, slamming its head into the ground. Earth and rock exploding, the villagers shrieked, scattering, trampling one another. Amid the chaos, Mo Huyan charged straight at Fong, staff raised high, eyes blazing with madness. "You have no choice. Your blood is mine." Thunder split the heavens, bathing the forest in a ghastly green light. The colossal serpent coiled tighter around the pit, jaws wide, shrieking with unholy fury. Mo Huyan lunged, his staff blazing, carving jagged streaks of green fire through the air. His voice roared, guttural and venomous. "Fong, tonight your blood will pay the debt owed to the Forest of Mist." Master Fong raised his head. His face was weary, blood streaming down his brow, rain soaking his torn robes, but in his eyes flickered a fierce light. Through clenched teeth he rasped, It was you who sowed this curse." Mo Huyan laughed, a sound that echoed like breaking glass, clawing into every ear. "You think yourself pure? Have you forgotten? You sold the poison. You doomed your wife and child to a brutal death. I only carried out the will of the spirits, turning your sin into sacrifice." The villagers recoiled, sobs and curses rising all around. An old woman clutched her head, wailing, "God in heaven, it's true. He brought this doom upon us." The crowd erupted, their fear spilling into hatred. Shouts like a storm, curses, cries, prayers. Fong trembled, fingers digging into the mud, his voice breaking but firm. "Yes, I sinned, but I will not let you spill more innocent blood." He staggered upright, body swaying, his eyes burning red. His chest heaved as he faced the staff's glow. Mo Huyan swept his staff, and the green fire lashed out like a serpent, wrapping Fong in searing coils. His flesh burned, smoke rising, the stench of charred skin filling the air. Fong screamed in agony. Yet in that torment, visions burst before him, his wife, her hair wild, eyes bleeding, clutching their lifeless child. Her voice was faint, but resolute. "Rise, one last time?" His jaw clenched, teeth grinding until blood seeped from his gums. With a primal roar, he hurled himself forward. "Mo Huyan, if I must die, I'll drag you with me." He surged into the blaze, fire consuming his body. Mo Huyan's eyes widened, shock flashing too late. Fong slammed into him, both locked in a deadly embrace as they toppled toward the pit's edge. The serpent reared high, shrieking, maw opening wide to swallow them both whole. The villagers shrieked, their cries piercing the storm, echoing through the mountains as the two figures vanished into the abyss. The wind howled through the gorge as rocks split and tumbled. Master Fong and Mo Huyan plunged into the abyss, swallowed by shadow and fire. Green flames surged upward, painting the pit in a ghostly blaze. At the rim, the villagers clung to one another, faces pale as bone. A child sobbed, voice breaking, "Uncle Fong, don't die." Inside the pit, their bodies crashed against jagged stone. Blood sprayed crimson on black rock. Mo Huyan rose first, snarling, and slammed his staff down. "You cannot escape. This mountain has thirsted for your blood too long." The staff's light flared. Chains of sickly green erupted and coiled around Fong, slamming him to the ground. Smoke hissed from his flesh as he writhed in agony. From the cracks in the pit, pale shapes drifted forth, phantoms of the villagers who had perished from plague, beasts, and curses. Their hollow eyes stared, mouths moaning in unearthly chorus. One figure stepped clearer than the rest, a woman, hair matted and wild, cradling a newborn drenched in spectral blood. Fong's wife and his lost child. Her voice cut the air, each word freezing. "Fong, have you forgotten the blood of your own house?" Fong's tears streamed, mixing with blood upon his face. He sobbed, voice raw, "I never forgot. Each day I live, it is only to atone." The infant in her arms opened its eyes, wide and accusing. Its cry burst forth, shattering every ear in the pit. "Father, come down with us." Mo Huyan's laughter broke like thunder. Mad and gleeful, he jabbed a finger toward them. "See, even your wife and child reject you. You have no home left, no forgiveness." He drove his staff into the ground. The pit quaked, stone groaning. From above, the serpent descended, coils scraping, scales clashing like metal, its vast head lowered, eyes blazing, jaws yawning wide, venomous breath suffocating all. Fong trembled, eyes locked on the phantoms of his family. His chest heaved, voice cracking in surrender and resolve. "If my blood can release you at last, then take it." With a final roar, he tore through the burning chains, his body aflame, and hurled himself into the serpent's waiting fangs. Blood exploded in a crimson spray. Above, the villagers screamed as one, their cries echoing into the storm. "Master Fong!" The serpent's maw opened wide, fangs gleaming, poised to pierce Fong's chest. With a final cry, he hurled himself into its strike, summoning every fragment of strength left in his body. The fangs tore through him, blood erupted, painting the mist in a crimson veil. The mountains shuddered, a deafening roar splitting the sky. Mo Huyan staggered, his face drained of all color. His voice cracked with disbelief. "No, it cannot be." In the abyss, Fong's blood mingled with Lan's, the last breath she had surrendered moments earlier in the hut. Drop by drop, the two streams merged, staining the pit with spreading scarlet. From the haze, his wife and child appeared once more. Their eyes no longer burned with rage. The woman's voice trembled, gentle at last. "It is enough, Fong." The infant gave a faint smile before dissolving into mist. Released from torment, Fong's lips quivered, his trembling hand reaching toward them though his strength was fading. His voice, ragged and fading, carried one last plea. "Thank you for letting me be forgiven." His body slumped, eyes closing in peace, a faint smile frozen on his lips. Above the pit, the villagers looked on, fear and grief knotting in their throats. But before relief could touch them, the earth convulsed. Black mist surged skyward, sweeping through huts and trees alike. Screams tore the air, villagers collapsed, skin turning ashen, blood seeping from eyes and mouths. Within moments, the entire mist village drowned in a tide of bloody fog. Mo Huyan spun to flee, but skeletal hands erupted from the pit, seizing him. His shriek cut the night as he was dragged below, swallowed forever. When dawn finally broke, sunlight pierced only an empty wilderness. Mist Village had vanished from every map, erased from the living world. Yet locals whisper still, on stormy nights in the deep Kon Tum forest. Faint cries of children echo through the rain, mingled with a mournful warning. "Do not enter, it is so cold here." This story comes to an end. Thank you so much for staying with us until this very moment. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is a great motivation for us to create more haunting stories for you to listen to. If you have any questions or notice any mistakes in the story, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. In darkness in the night, we'll see you again in the next tale. Right finger note: this ghost story is entirely fictional and made for entertainment purposes only. It does not promote superstition and has no relation to any real individuals, organizations, or locations.